You're listening to Mentoring Developers. Was it easy for you to come to the U.S. to work? Did you have to do anything special? So, because, I'm assuming that you wanted to work in the Silicon Valley. It's the Silicon Valley. Everybody wants to be here. But the question is, not everybody gets to come here. So why do you think you were able to do it?
Yeah, it was kind of funny, I guess, because programmers in Colombia are not cool as they are in Silicon Valley. Like here in Silicon Valley, you get paid well and you're respected in the company, lots of job security. But in Colombia, it's not like that. So when I was doing well in my career in Colombia, I felt that it would be amazing to come to a place where you can be a nerd and everybody's a nerd, and it's you're like, people are cool with that, and you can have other friends that are programmers and go to more events. So I was really looking forward to that. There was a hackathon in Colombia that I won, and the prize was like a ticket and 2 weeks of stay in Silicon Valley. So I decided, we won that hackathon, and I decided, well, I'm going to go to Silicon Valley with, free ticket, and then we're going to have like housing for 2 weeks. And if during those 2 weeks I'm able to get a job and find another place to live, I'll stay. If not, I'll go back to Colombia. And I was able to get a job and find a house in those 2 weeks, and I ended up staying.
That's some kind of a record. In 2 weeks, you were able to come in, get, acclimatize. Obviously, it's a bit of a different country. It's different culture, different language. And you're able to get housing, get a job. I'd love to know how you did that.
I mostly luck. I don't usually recommend other people doing that unless you're willing to, risk it. I guess it's like a huge gamble. Housing wasn't that hard. I was in an event and I met this random person that had just rented a house with 10 rooms and was looking for people to live on that house. And I was like, yeah, sure. So it wasn't that expensive. So it was my first place. It was a place on Berkeley. That's how I ended up in Berkeley. And I stayed on that house for like 6 months. It was pretty nice. I was living with 9 other people. And then job was through AngelList. I found a job that wasn't paying that great, but it was okay because it was my first job here. Just that. AngelList was a very useful resource then.
Tell us about AngelList, because I'm not sure a lot of people know that there is this thing called AngelList that is very unique. Why do you go there? What can you find out? And how does it help you get a job?
So AngelList is like a database for startups. You can find information about startups, like how much funding they have, who's working there, all sorts of things. It's pretty interesting if you're researching into startups. It has a job board too, which I found really interesting because you can get in touch directly with the founders, especially in the smaller companies. So it kind of works like Tinder in a way. You say that you're interested in a job, then the person from the jobs looks at your profile, and if they like you, they click interest. They're interested too, and AngelList sends you both an intro email.
Great. So it's a way to get introduced to startups, and it's sort of an indirect way of doing job search. And it's very smart because these are companies that are really looking to hire people, and they don't have the name recognition, and maybe they don't even have the money to hire top talent. So if you're starting out, they will more likely take a chance on you, especially if you're an unknown. And once you get the first gig, your first 6 months, a year of experience, and you have some recommendations, some testimonials from people who like your work, then you're often, you can go off and do your own thing, or you can join a bigger company if you like, right? Did you stick with that first company? Did you stay with them for a couple of months and then move on? What did you do?
Actually, I only stayed with them for like 4 weeks. I didn't like them a lot, and it didn't work out. But it was great because the first job to get here, if you haven't been in Silicon Valley, is really hard to get because a lot of companies don't trust the experience that you have outside of Silicon Valley. Especially if you're coming from Latin America, they will be like, and especially if you don't have a college degree, they'll be like, you've been programming for 5 years, but that doesn't really mean shit to us. So, but once you have like a Silicon Valley company on your resume, it's a lot easier to get the other jobs after that.
Even if it is just a few weeks, that's incredible. But that's so true, because people are, these companies are really, really looking very hard, and they're just looking for some kind of validation to make sure, do you have what it takes? If somebody hired you, anybody they recognize hired you, that means at least you're qualified.
Yeah, I was working for that company and I didn't like it a lot. And I went to an event and somebody at that event was like, oh, you're pretty good at JavaScript and we're starting this company. Would you like to work for us? And the salary was like twice what I was making. So I was like, oh, yeah, no brainer. So, and it was in Berkeley too. So I quit the other job and I moved to a different company. And then on that company, I stayed for like 6 months and then they ran out of money, which kind of happens often in Silicon Valley. So, and then I was working for a media company and then I started working at right now.
Thank you so much for listening.
For show notes and transcripts, visit us at mentoringdevelopers.com.